You're listening to Tehachapi with Key Budge, Corey Costello, Greg Garrett, and Ashley Whitmore.
It's Tehachapi time. Key Budge, Corey Costello today. Corey, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Now, today, the listeners can't tell, but you are wearing your Roadrunner blue shirt today.
It just happened. I realized when I went to pick our guests up out of the lobby at City Hall, I was like, oh, I happen to have my blue, kind of runner blue Tehachapi shirt on. Like I don't have a million runner blue shirts in my house from my previous experience.
And today we've got three special guests in the studio representing Cal State University Bakersfield and your old stomping grounds. We've got Abel Nunez-Guerrero, we have Isias Martinez, and Jasmine Armstrong. So first, welcome to Tehachapi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Abel, I met you, and I think it was our EDC.
Was it that or the East Current Economic Alliance meeting?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yes.
And you were talking, you were able to, they gave you like 30 seconds to introduce yourself and just kind of talk a synopsis of the program. And it caught my attention. And I said, we need to talk about this further. There's opportunity here for our locals, whether they're thinking about what university they want to attend or if they're already at CSUB. I thought the program that you were talking about and what we're going to talk about today fits hand in hand with our community.
Well, I know from the economic side, and this has been a focus of the East Current Economic Alliance, it's been a focus just here in Tehachapi and then Kern County wide, it's been a lot about retention. We have, and there's been studies, I know KEDC's done that, led by Richard Chapman, of, people they're creating businesses in Kern County, and then they leave, or they are a talented workforce and then they leave. Now, some of them are coming back, but there's this sort of now focus on making sure that they develop maybe in our local university system, and then they stay in Kern County when they decide to go to work.
And what we're going to talk about today, in particular, as we get into it, Abel, you are the community college coordinator for your NSME outreach program, and when I asked you NSME, it's natural sciences, mathematics, and engineering, and then I asked you the first question was, is that similar to STEM? And it's just kind of another way of talking about STEM, which we've commonly talked about here. And so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Yeah.
Right. See, I'm not a STEM major, but I'm trying to pull from the past. So we want to talk about that. You're the community college coordinator. We have Saracoso College here in Tehachapi, so I know that's got to be hopefully a feeding pool into this program.
Absolutely.
And then Jasmine, your role in this program? You're one of the coordinators.
I'm an internship career coordinator.
So the internship, so I love the word internship because when we talk about the business that we're in, internships from the media side that's like commonplace. You need to get an internship before you get a job. Mm-hmm. And so I know that we're going to talk about trying to develop community partners, some of the people that are listening in our STEM field. And matter of fact, we had recently, Straddle Lunch, we had one of the operations managers here and talking about, exactly this is internships and those internships turning into jobs. So I think that's pretty exciting. So it kind of fits hand in hand with recent subject matter.
Yeah.
And then Isias, you are a student. So we actually have hands-on. You are a part of the program. You have been for a couple of years. And so you'll get a chance to share some of your experiences too, hopefully here today.
Yes, that's right. And I will be gladly to help you guys.
It's going to be fantastic. Abel, let's dive in. So the program is available to who?
Incoming freshmen. And pretty much aside from that is what we're trying to do is make sure that the community knows that we're here. Because before, as we had spoken before, our position didn't exist. Jasmine's position, my position didn't exist. And it is open to freshmen. We're here. So if any school in the community, high school, elementary school, junior high school, is interested in coming to our campus, doing a campus tour of NSME, what we offer, what we have, our programs, we're more than willing to assist those students to come in.
And I know the engineering piece is fairly new because I think even I was working on campus when there was some studies done and they looked and they realized so many engineering students from Bakersfield being lost to Cal Poly, Fresno State. And then they did kind of a survey of like, well, what do we need in this area? What kind of jobs do we have? And I think that's when they said, well, we're really falling short on the engineering piece. And I think that was added. They built an engineering lab really quickly in a couple of years. And so it seems like that engineering piece is a big part of this department, and another thing that really feeds the local job economy.
Absolutely, absolutely. And our program, engineering program, is about a little bit over 10 years. I think it's going to be the 11th year this year.
See, they're right about the time I started.
So and that's what's actually, people say, oh, well, that's a newer program. But the benefit is the equipment is fairly new compared to other institutions that have their programs that are 100, 120 years old. You know, sometimes it's difficult to replace all the equipment. You know what I mean? And we have our equipment state of the art, and we're very proud of that.
And so there's lots of opportunities. So you mentioned freshmen, but we're also talking about JUCO transfers. You get those junior college, you know, they put in their first 2 years here at Siracoso, putting in the time, and they're trying to figure out what's the next step, what's the next educational platform they want to go to. And we're recruiting them as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'll give you my office number. If any student wants a student educator, it's a 661-654-3969. We provide a home. I mean, because that's one of the things is I put myself in their position, and I think, hey, how would it be if, especially now after the pandemic, it's difficult. You know, it's difficult for students to connect. They missed 2 years of education, regular education. You know, everything was via Zoom, you know, so we can provide that assistance as far as showing them where the classes are to make them feel comfortable, make them feel at home.
And you were mentioning before we started recording that one of the priorities is the students and how they feel, and making them feel comfortable within the program and within the setting at CSUB.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's very important. Every student matters. Obviously, it's like that in every university, but at CSUB, students get not only a hands-on approach the very first day they enroll into any of the NSME programs, whether it's geology, where students can work. Our geology program is one of the best in the world. A lot of people don't know about that. You know, nursing programs, excellent, rated one of the best in California. And,
very tough to get into at one point.
Tough.
I remember
Yes,
it was very hard. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely,
very competitive.
Yes, very competitive. But we do offer that opportunity for students to connect, know their professors. You know, our classes. Back to the original question that you asked, our classes are smaller. You know, we don't have the stadium seating. We don't have 150 students per class, and the teacher's assistants teaching. You know, the professor's not there. And that's the way it happens. And once again, it's not the university's fault. It's just they're so big. You know, where with us, you have not only one-on-one with the actual professor, they also serve as an advisor. They could give you, hey, what do I do next? You know, they could. We're all here. We're not only a team, but we're also a family. We're committed to that.
And as Abel's talking, both Isaiah and Jasmine are nodding along, and it's like, yeah, you got. So they're feeling exactly what you're talking about, Jasmine. I'm going to ask you to expand a little bit more, because you were emphatically yes, without saying it, but you were nodding and going along. So I know you've got some thoughts on this.
Yes, Key. Going back to your question about recruiting from junior colleges, this is more Abel's position, but we are looking to make the transfer process easier and making sure that students are taking the classes that they need to at their junior colleges to make that transition into a four-year university easier, so that they do come in with the correct standing and they're spending less time in university, but still getting to the goal that they want to achieve. And also, one of the good things about Cal State Bakersfield for Kern County and in general is that it's the only four-year university within a 100-mile radius. So that is a lot of students that we're able to reach. So that's a lot of students that we're able to reach, but the school itself really does have that community feel. And at NSME, with all of our different departments, we don't like working in silos. We like to partner with other departments. So one of our coworkers who wasn't able to be here today works in our academic advising office. So he is more in touch with the actual requirements that it takes to get into it and how to help students plan their academic progress and their goals and things like that. And we stay in constant communication to make sure that students aren't falling through the loops, aren't able to get into a class that they need, to avoid them having to take an extra semester perhaps to graduate and things like that.
I'm as you're talking, I'm thinking back to my days. I entered LA Valley Junior College in 1982, graduated 2 years later, went over to CSUN, and I just kind of remember felt like I was kind of like a lost, I was on my own to kind of figure it out and making sure that direction that I was going, I wasn't going to have throwaway classes. I didn't want to waste my time. And when I transferred over to CSUN, I wanted to have as many transferable units as I could without having something that just stayed at the JUCO.
Yeah.
Didn't want that. So if I'm a freshman over here at Saracosa and I'm listening, I go, well, that's of interest. Are they able to, even though they're not enrolled at CSUB, are they able to reach out and ask for like a little bit of counseling? Like they would like to come to CSUB and be a part of this. So is that what you're saying, that they can reach out and make sure they're on that right path?
Yes, they can always reach out to our advising department, get in contact with our advisors, and they can let them know these are the requirements for transfer. So if you haven't taken these classes yet at your junior college, speak to your advisor at that college so they can get you into those classes. That way, when you apply to transfer, it's a smoother process.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's going to save a ton of time and money for people. And that's, one of the things after spending time on the CSUB campus, getting my MPA there as well, it is, there's so much that goes into people thinking they've got to go long ways away to go to college. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. You get, in terms of, you get your degree and you get that experience. And that's why sometimes going to the smaller university or going to a place like CSUB is you get that degree, you're going to have those letters after your name, whatever it may be, but you're also going to get a little more attention than you probably would somewhere else, or even with a full maybe online program. There's a lot of those out there, but you're not getting the direct attention. I know when I got my MPA, I could regularly, and I was working full time, but I was able to pop in and talk to the professors and that sort of thing on a regular basis, or I'd see them on campus, getting a sandwich or something and be able to chat briefly about stuff. So that makes a huge difference. And especially if you got your roadmap out early and get it mapped out so you're not wasting classes that aren't going to transfer and that sort of thing.
And Isias, you were nodding your head along too, going along. And you're in this process. You are a student. You're in the biology program. Let's talk a little bit about your experience so far. How long have you been a part of the program?
So I started going to CSUB 3 years ago. I started as a freshman and plan to graduate in 4 years or maybe take an extra semester. I started being as a nursing major, but as I dive more into the NSME program, I learned that for my own personal goals, switching to a biology major would be more productive for myself. So I switched to a biology major. I got in contact with my advisors and those professionals inside the program that helped me to select the classes that I need for what I need after I graduate. And something that I also, going back to your question about like, how do we welcome students? What do we have to offer to them? We have several tutoring centers. We have them separate or all together in general. For example, their own chemistry tutoring center, math tutoring center in their own building, and they also have it separated in levels like basic, intermediate, and advanced math. And besides that, professors are also really involved with students. Our classes are not like Mr. Nunez said, they are not like big stadium like 130 students in one single classroom, but rather like from 40 to 30 or maybe even 20 students, which gives the opportunity to link with the professor, express like their doubts or questions. And besides that, the professors also offer their own office hours and encourage students to go. That way they can offer all the support that they need to succeed in their academics.
So do you feel like for you that you've gotten a personal touch along this journey?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
What's your goal for after the biology? When you graduate, what do you want to do with that degree?
So after I graduate with my biology degree, I plan on going to a PhD school and pursue a doctorates, and that way work as a physician assistant and perhaps later on become a full-on surgeon.
Oh, all right.
So you have some real goals. These are these are obtainable, but it's thanks to these programs that we're talking about today that makes it obtainable. Did you grow up in this area, or are you from the San Joaquin Valley?
Actually, I was born in a different country, and I moved here 6 years ago. I finished my high school degree, my high school diploma here, And right after that, I transferred to CSUB with the help of the advisors and the different programs that were previously mentioned by Mr. Nunez, like TRIO, EOP, CAMP, which, financed by the school. They go out and recruit the students and give them everything that they need to start their journey in higher education.
Nice.
Now, Abel, so when you hear a student, someone who's a part of the program, and he's very confident in that he is obtaining exactly the goals that you talk about, how does that make you feel?
It makes you feel really good. It makes me, like I said, he's not a number. He's actually sitting right here in person. So it makes me happy to know that just the effort that we put in makes a difference. I mean, I try to stay in touch with as many students as I can, and people think I'm a weirdo. Hey, good morning. Hey, good afternoon. And people are like, well, who is this guy? But I try to connect with everybody. Right, Jasmine? And it's just because everyone's walking around with their earbuds in or their headphones, and
Right.
I try to make it more personal with everybody. It doesn't matter who it is on campus. I always say hello.
That personal touch is kind of a lost art.
Yeah, exactly.
We've lost that in this digital
Absolutely.
world where our heads are down in our phones, and it seems like we're in a digital state of mind all the time, whether it's the earpods. And I will tell you, you are very easy to contact or reach out to, because you and I have exchanged several emails, and I apologize for having to cancel one that we were scheduled, but you were and it was last minute, and I had to do it, and I apologize for that, but you were just made it so easy. It's like, no worries, we'll make it happen. And then with the phone call, so you return calls, you return emails,
yes,
and you're very good at communicating. So thank you for all the effort you put in, to make this happen.
So
Absolutely.
I'm curious too about. I see you've got a lot of stuff. I know I've read about this, about energy innovation and some of those initiatives through this program. So what's that about, and the energy innovation building in the center you have at CSUB?
So basically, within the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to have an $83 million building on our campus specifically for STEM, for NSME. It's going to be 74,000 square feet at over 3 levels, and it's going to offer 30-degree programs in NSME. So it's something that we're looking forward to it. I think in July we're going to break ground for that, and we're very excited about that. It's going to change everything. It really is, because it's going to be the most up-to-date technologically and scientifically. As far as the laboratories, we're going to have 17 laboratory spaces, 44 faculty and staff offices, an expanded fab lab and machine shop. It's going to be state-of-the-art. So it's going to be the newest college building in California. So that's something that we're very excited about. And another reason why we're here. And
that's something for students to keep in mind, because access to those resources. I went to my undergrad was at a smaller university, and I went there because what I wanted to do at the time when I was trying to do journalism and radio, I looked at some place like San Diego State. Great school, great program. However, I would not get a chance to touch radio equipment until I was a senior. Meanwhile, I'd go to a smaller place like Point Loma Nazarene, where they're like, we'll put you on the air in your second semester. And so you get more, I got more hands-on experience. And then when you get out, you've got more practical experience. So when you go to the job interview, you've got a lot more experience than the person who had 1 year in. And the same thing goes for these as well. I mean, you build that on a campus 4 times the size of CSUB. Good luck freshmen, sophomores ever touching that stuff. You won't get in. Right. But at a place like CSUB or any small university with those kind of resources, you're going to have that hands-on experience, and that just gets you a little more better prepared when you do leave with that degree.
Absolutely. It's that's one of the things that we're very proud of. I'll give you an example. Within the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a program. It's sponsored by Chevron, and this program is going to basically what students do is the deadline's already passed, right? But the students come in and they get an opportunity. It's a summer school, an opportunity to work with faculty members and professionals in the field in a project, a STEM project or NSME project that they're interested in, and they get paid $1,000. Nice. So this is something that it's hands-on. So it's a project of their liking. They get to the SURE program, summer undergraduate research experience, and so that's unheard of in any other university. It's something that we're very proud of. As Another example is like our geology program, very hands-on. Actually, at this moment, there's a moon rock on our campus where students are actually getting the opportunity to work with moon rocks, and they're able to not only work on their bachelor's, but work on their master's at the same time. Who else can do that? I mean, Dr. Rathburn, he's taken students to Antarctica. He's taken Greenland. I think he's going to take them to New Zealand as well, and it's paid by the school. Who else can offer that? So there's so many opportunities, not only in that, but we do have biology, chemistry. Everything is hands-on. Everything, and NSME. As soon as the student sets foot and registers for those classes, NSME classes, they're ready to go. Whether, like I said, chemistry, engineering, they get to work with equipment that professionals use, and you see Isias right here. He's shaking his head, so he can give you a testimony on that.
So you were able to jump right in?
Yes. For example, when it comes to the chemistry lab sections, they will give you first the introduction. For example, the chemistry lecture, so you can learn the concepts like the reactions and what is happening during the experiments. And after you complete successfully the class, you can then take the next level, which is the lab section. Once you the first day of classes, they will give you the introduction to the lab, and they will actually show you like the safety measurements, like how to keep a clean space. And by the next class, you will actually start your experiments, or which also will be supervised by the professor. That way, there's nothing that goes wrong. And the experiments, even they are really they're really helpful to understand the reactions. The professor will guide you through. They will also give you a procedure, and you can follow them and ask questions to your classmates, the professor, and even sometimes consult the web before class or after class in case you don't understand something or you want to learn more about it.
And going back to some of these jobs, there are some of these departments and sort of emphasis you were talking about. I was thinking about the jobs as you popped up. You talked about geology. Kern County, obviously, geology very unique and interesting. Obviously, we have the oil industry that's been around for a while, but now we're starting to transition to carbon capture, which that's going to take geologists to figure out where to put that stuff and where to drill and that sort of thing. And just thinking off the top of my head too, I mean, the chemistry piece, U.S. Borax out in Boron has a need for those chemists and geologists as well. Martin Marietta right here outside the Tehachapi city limits, the cement factory, they have chemists who basically when they bring stuff in, these chemists run experiments to make sure that this blend is correct before it goes out the door. And they study these sorts of things. And so we have a lot of those jobs in Kern County, kind of going back to that retention piece. We want to keep these students here because there are great opportunities in this, and even mathematics, as I think it's off the top of my head. We have so much is transitioning into AI stuff, but someone has to write those algorithms, and they have to figure out those sorts of get those problems programmed and coded. So there's a big demand, I think, in those areas as well. And then kind of if we stay on the theme of retention, I think Jasmine's a good example, a MPA grad, and stayed in Kern County to work at CSUB. So I'm curious about what your sort of journey has been like, and what your plans continue to be, kind of taking what you applied in this program and at CSUB in general into the workforce.
So I was actually also a transfer. I transferred to CSUB during my undergraduate studies from Bakersfield College, and I received my bachelor's degree in history, actually. And then when I was trying to decide where I wanted to go with my career, I looked back at CSUB and their master's degrees that they offered. And for my personal career goals, a master's in public administration seemed to fit along with what I wanted. So the application process was very easy. I actually started during the beginning of the COVID craziness, so it was a little bit of an adjustment, but I never felt like my professors weren't available to me. And it just reiterated the love that I have for Cal State Bakersfield. The faculty has always been great to me during both courses of my studies. And I came back as a faculty member because I wanted an opportunity to give back to the students the way that I was invested in.
Abel, let me ask you, you mentioned briefly when we were trying to figure out exactly where where I got a chance to hear you speak, and you were talking about Kern County, this region, where it ranks in STEM type jobs this acronym of NSME type jobs, and where Kern County ranks.
Yes. Well, at this point, we're either 3 or number 4 in the United States for STEM jobs, which is great. But here's the issue. Local companies within Kern County, what they'll do is they'll hire NSME grads, STEM grads, right, from either down in San Diego, Los Angeles area, or the Bay Area. And, of course, these students live over there, right? These graduates, not graduate students, but students that graduated live in those areas. What they'll do is they'll come in here. They'll be here for 2-3 years, get the experience, and then they'll leave. So there's a brain drain, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that our students, our people in Kern County, from east to west, north to south, right, come to a CSUB, earn their degree, and within the scope of this program, they're able to get into an internship, right? And then with our partner who's not here, teammate who's not here, Jeff DeGia, he does the career pathways. Get the students to meet professionals in the field that are hiring, and it's basically a career pathway for success for these students. So that way, even before they leave campus, and this is actually happening right now, where they're in their junior year and they pretty much already have a job.
Well, Jasmine, let's talk about the internship portion of this. I mean, Corey and I both have had internships, working in the communications field. That was the reason why I went to junior college, just what you talked about, because I was able to go hands-on right away. And I had an internship at the age of 18, and it turned into a job before I was 19. But internships are huge, and they are the resume builders. They are the baseline for experience. And so let's talk about the internship portion of the program.
Absolutely. So when you're going through your education, you're going through all the different years of schooling, a large part of transitioning into the workforce is being able to show that you have experiential learning. So you've been hands-on, you've been in it. You haven't just been studying a textbook and taking tests. So my goal as an internship career coordinator is to reach out to local businesses and have them invest in our students while they're still in school, because it's really investing in future positions that they want to fill. It's teaching students the technologies that they'll be using after they graduate once they're in the position. We're teaching them the soft skills that they need. We're teaching them how to interview better, how to communicate with professionals, how to network, all of these things that go into becoming a working professional. That's really the goal and the scope of the internship program.
And you brought up soft skills, which are so important. And I remember pushing that even then. And when we interview people now, you can tell folks that have an understanding of soft skills and some that don't. I mean, that's just the showing up on time, how to potentially dress for the interview, how to answer questions, and how to build your resume, and just some of the little things that do make a difference in a competitive position. Those little things will make a difference. And sometimes we just kind of think of them as normal, but those soft skills are very important. And there's always been a push to get college students to understand that it's not just about getting the degree, but you get those soft skills lined out too, so you can be marketable when you do finish your student career.
Exactly. We want students to graduate Cal State Bakersfield being well-rounded, fully developed professionals ready for the work field.
Now, what kind of community partners do we have? I mean, you mentioned that you're still looking for more. So if there's a business owner or someone in this field goes, I think that maybe we want to participate in the program, you're looking for that. But and you mentioned Chevron earlier, Abel. Can we talk about some of the businesses, some of the corporations that are supplying internships to the program?
So I'm very new into this role. This is actually my third week. But for example, like our nursing program which is within NSME, has a very robust relationship with local hospitals in Bakersfield. They have a very robust externship process where within a certain year, students are actually working in hospitals, working with patients, seeing what it's like on a day-to-day basis in that nursing field.
Oh, and well, you're right about that. We're actually one of the partners we're working with is actually DaVita Healthcare. DaVita Healthcare is one of them, and this is also a call for any other local businesses that are interested in. Just give us a call. Once again, my number is 661-654-3969. If they're interested in providing internships for our students, we could do that. We'll connect you with Jasmine, and she'll be able to assist with that.
And that's the big connection too. I think some folks might be thinking, well, why are we talking about a university in Bakersfield? I mean, this is Tehachapi, but the employment for East Kern is so dependent on this program and the students that come out of this program. As I mentioned earlier, the mining in East Kern, the wind industry in Tehachapi. I mean, the engineers involved with that, the solar industry, and even the aerospace and defense stuff. It's all very. I mean, you talk about the engineering and the math and all involved in all that stuff as well. So a lot of the East Kern job sectors are tied to programs like this. And when we hear about things like the energy building and those sort of things coming online, that will just hopefully provide even better training and better students that come out. And then the challenge is, and that's why it's a great opportunity for companies in the region to reach out and get in touch and start getting those internships offered, because then you get yourself in that pipeline for filling those positions with students that come out of CSUB.
Absolutely. That's a great point. I've actually had the opportunity of speaking with representatives at Edwards Air Force Base, and we're hoping that this fall they come to CSUB, and we're going to collaborate with them as well. And just to add to the building that we're going to have on campus, it's actually a partnership between CSUB and Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, which is a big name in science. Mm-hmm. And so this is something that we're looking at as a bold change in our community, because you mentioned East Kern. We're here for East Kern. I gave my number and I back that up. Any student that comes to our campus, I'll make time for that student, even if it's one student or 100 students. We'll accommodate them, because we've been doing that.
I mean, and that's one thing that we constantly hear over the last few years that always sticks out to me when we talk about these jobs and recruitment for these engineering, these STEM positions, is the retention.
Yeah.
They grab someone for 18 months, 24 months, and then they're off to the East Coast or somewhere else. Right. And it's the retention factor. And you want to invest here locally.
And it's hard to bring people in.
Right.
It's hard to recruit sometimes from outside the area, because especially in the East Kern region, it's a different landscape. And some people that coming from maybe the East Coast or even the Midwest, they crest the hill around Mojave and they're like, where am I at?
It's 104 today? Holy
this is the surface of the moon. And so I think there's that culture shock, sort of.
Right.
But again, to Key's point about the importance of that, folks that are already in Bakersfield or in Kern County, they get it. They understand Kern County a little bit. And even though it's a wide and super diverse county, it's much easier for the companies to hire from within the county and keep those people here, because they already get it and they already have roots of somewhat here in the region.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know we've got a great STEM program, here through Tehachapi High School and our charter school. So it's just nice to hear about more of this with the NSME, the STEM programs, and at other educational levels, because it is going to fill these needs of these employers. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that whenever we talk to one of these aerospace or wind or the mining, is we need STEM jobs. We need these NSME type jobs. We need these people to stay, here. Yeah. And so I love the fact that this program is, it's growing, and you're active, and you're not afraid to come to Tehachapi. You're not afraid to come and say, hey, we've got something for you, but don't overlook us.
Yeah.
And when you talk about the investment, you've got an $83 million building that's going to be this jewel of the program.
Exactly.
Those are the things where it's different if it was, well, it's all portable trailers. Yeah. There's no investment in it. There is real investment saying this is legit. This is a part of where our growth as an educational facility is. We've got the programs. We are investing here. And now you need to really look at taking a hard look at us. This is a real opportunity.
Absolutely.
So have we, as this is growing, and I know, so you mentioned Saracoso, with that program and our footprint here at Sarcoso continues to grow too. So this, I'm sure that the collaboration, this working together, continues to grow as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not only that, we continue to develop new programs. We actually have due to the pandemic and how important infectious diseases are, et cetera. We also have a public health degree that we've developed, and next year we're going to have mechanical engineering, and also I believe by next year this time we should have a doctorate in nursing as well. We didn't have that before, so every year we're adding more and more programs, and we're hoping by the end we have 33 programs, or 30 degree programs for NSME.
That's fantastic growth and goals.
Yeah.
All right, Isias. So what are you thinking? Where you're at right now? What year are you a junior or?
Well, technically, this upcoming fall semester. It'll be my 4th year in CSUB.
Okay.
So it could be considered as a senior.
Okay. Now, have you had any internship opportunities?
Not as of right now, but something that I had is involvement with different programs. Like, for example, right now, this will be my 2nd year being a part of the College Corp program, which is it barely started last year, funded by the governor, Gavin Newsom, to expand involvement of students around the communities. And although it's not truly completely related to NSME, I took interest in the program because it will link me to my community around Bakersfield. In my case, since I'm a biology major, I was interested in climate change. And I was working with the current Council of Governments to see ways to reduce CO2 emissions. That goes back to being a biology major and NSME. And that's why, although I haven't gone to internships yet, I know that there's many opportunities that the campus offers to students. Besides the NSME Center, there's also the student outreach. No, I don't remember the name of the center, but we have a center that links you to internships, to companies, and gives you the contact information to people outside of Bakersfield or in Bakersfield, so you can connect and link to them and maybe see what opportunities they have to offer to you.
Excellent.
Yeah, there's a lot of things out there for sure that people and students can take advantage of, not just classes. That's for sure.
Okay. Jasmine, anything else that you want to
I was just going to say that I think that Isias was talking about our Center for Education and Career Development, which is another department that we have on campus.
CC, right?
Yes,
CC.
our CC
That-
Center.
I was trying to think of the acronym when you were saying, I'm like, I know this. It's CC. Yeah, that's right.
So that's a department on campus that I'm working closely with to model our internship program over at NSME. And they'll also assist us with recruiting employers who are interested in providing those internship opportunities for our students.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, and adding to that, 2 weeks ago, I received an email from the CC Center. Thank you for reminding me of the name. Where they were creating these new positions for students that will help them to reach out to people in the community and get involved with them, and then bring back information to the campus so that students get to know the opportunities out there.
All right.
And they applied for it, and I'm sure it's going to be great.
Good deal. So, Jasmine, if there's a business that is interested in saying, hey, I want to get more information, maybe the internship program is something that we need to bring in to our workplace, do they reach out to you?
Yes, absolutely. They can give me a call at 661-654-3822. Or I'll actually give you my email address later if you want to share it around City Hall,
Absolutely.
if you have any business contacts. But if anyone has any information about essentially the requirements of providing internships, because we do have some safety requirements
Sure.
and things like that to protect our students, I can always share information. We can talk about it. We can see what opportunities you have. They don't have to be paid internships. We have a program where students can receive academic credit for an unpaid internship. So if you don't necessarily have the funding to provide students with a paid opportunity, you can still absolutely contact us and we can work through that process.
That was me. That was me as a college student. Yeah, it was an unpaid internship.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I've had an unpaid internship as well, but it definitely helped getting that experience.
Oh yeah, there was no shortage, and I think, and I'm throwing back, over some 40 years, but that rolling up the sleeves, doing that internship, the value that I got from it, the experience, being hands on. There was no paycheck involved. That was okay because that leapfrogged me ahead of other people that weren't willing to do that.
Well, also the advice you got from people.
Yes.
I mean, listen to me, kid, do it this way. You get that kind of real world experience from the employees. And, and when I was working at CSUB, I actually had students I would employ and or use as interns to, that way they could get that kind of same experience and hands on. A lot of the time too, we were dealing with so much technology. They'd come in and be like, well, why don't you do it this way? And they said, you're absolutely right, because they had a different perspective and a new technology way to, produce a video or do something like that. So it was very, very valuable on both ends. That's for sure.
All right. Now, Abel, if there's, students that are listening and going, or parents of some students are getting ready to go to, whether it's junior college or they're ready for that university step, and they've got questions for you, how do they reach out to you?
Well, they could call me. That's the best way. It's once again area code 661-654-3969, or they can email me at anunez5@csub.edu. And just to add to that, before they decide, call me and we'll schedule a tour, whether it's an individual tour for the student and their family, or if it's a group tour, we can arrange that. That's not a problem. We could show them around and introduce them to. That's another thing that we could do on our campus. We could do our best to schedule an appointment with the department heads. Try doing that at another university. You can't do that. There's no way. Recently, we had a Taft College come over, and they met with the department head of engineering. And he spent like half a day with them. You know what I mean? That's unheard of in any other university. We're a home. And to students, and we want to make sure that students know that, not only students but parents, that they're in good hands with theirs at CSUB, because the future starts here at CSUB.
All right. Nice. You getting some throwback memories?
No, that's absolutely. I mean, a lot of the things you brought up, I went through as a student, as a member of the staff there for sure. And we pushed those things. We pushed on our student athletes. We pushed the soft skills. We pushed, little things outside of just, let's get you through this program and let's get you maybe a professional contract to play somewhere, but also let's make sure you're set up because you're probably not going to play professionally. So where can we put you, where you set up yourself for the future? And we've had, there were kids that I dealt with that were biology majors at CSUB. They're doctors now. I mean, they moved back home because they were from, places like Atlanta and that sort of thing. They moved back home, but they're doctors now, and they're that sort of thing. So it's good to see that and kind of reminisce about some of those things and see that success of students, now and then in the past.
Well, we have a hometown kid, Tyler.
Yeah.
That we had on this show.
Yeah.
We talked about his journey through playing at CSUB, going into professional sports, but coming back to Tehachapi.
And buying a business.
Going into
that route. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and then my overwhelming success story. I mean, come on, Keith.
It always starts and ends with Corey right here. So
I had to throw that in there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So Jasmine, as we wrap things up, anything in closing that that we didn't touch on that you'd like to share? Did we touch all the bases?
I think we touched all the bases.
All right.
If there are parents, students, any organizations that are looking for partnerships, you can find more information at www.csub.edu/NSME.
Okay.
And note to parents, and I've brought this up in the past, having worked in higher education, take advantage of not only the programs, but take advantage of the lower costs of places like community college to knock out some of that stuff, or go for the 4-year route at CSUB to start with, and you pay that lower tuition. I think it's still one of the most affordable CSUs in the system. And as an in-state resident, it's even cheaper. And don't, like I said in the past, I mean, it's all about just getting the education and the degree. It doesn't really matter where you get it from. And so I think people think they want to go to the places that they see maybe on TV more. But the point is, especially this day and age when things cost more, take advantage of some great educational resources we have in the area. And that starts sometimes at community college and they continue into 4-year right here in Kern County.
Yeah, and I think the opportunity that is available a lot more quickly is huge.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that, for me, if I was, as a student or a parent of a student thinking, I would think about that early opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, the quicker they go hands-on, you know, the better off they're going to be about making that decision, making the career path, and doing the things, Isias, that you've been doing. You know, being able to touch things.
Yeah.
You know, not just theory. It's not just we're reading a book. What I get to touch is my textbook.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're actually, you know, out there. You're a part of, you know, trying to figure things out, going through, and they're putting your hands on.
Yeah, definitely. The university will give you the classes that will teach you. They will come in two. They will give you the lecture and the lab section that will teach you everything that you're learning the very same day or the very next day, which is amazing.
Abel, anything in closing that we didn't touch on that you wanted to make sure we got out?
Just to let the Tehachapi community and beyond know, we're here to support any student or returning students. It could be somebody that wants to pursue their master's degree, you know, a working parent. We're here to we're here to support them. Like I said, if they want a tour, if they want just a phone call, whatever, a Zoom meeting, anything, we're basically bending over backwards for our community to make sure that everybody knows, you know, the changes that are coming to CSUB.
I think I appreciate the recruitment of local.
Yeah. And
I think that's my big takeaway that I'm getting right now is that local is appreciated.
and working folks too. I mean, I got my master's with a full-time job, and I don't know how many years I was removed from my undergrad at that point, probably 15 years, I think, removed from my undergrad. Might have been a little less than that, but was I older than some people in the class? Yes, but there were plenty others just like me doing the same thing. They were holding down full-time jobs and coming to school at night to get our master's. So you don't feel like you're like, I mean, there were people older than I, you know, at the time. I was in my late 30s when I got my master's, and so you do feel comfortable at CSUB because you have students, you know, a wide range of ages that are getting in these programs. So it is nice in that regard. You can work a full-time job and still get your master's in the evening.
Now, out of curiosity, I have no idea. Do you have social media for the program? Do we have a Facebook or Instagram page that is a part of it?
Yes, we do have an Instagram page.
Okay, what is it?
I believe it's CSUB _NSME. Can you look it up, please? Just to make sure.
Because I bet there's opportunities here with internships that there's some great photo ops of testimonials. And,
Absolutely.
you know, in this digital age that we're on, that we started kind of talking about the show, you know, you still have to market towards, you know, that 17-year-old that's living in and out of their phone. And, you know, they can actually see, oh, that's pretty cool. You know, they can see some of the other students' journeys through the program. So did you find it?
Yeah, I found it. So it's for Instagram, it is just CSUB NSME. No spaces, just like that.
Okay, CSUB NSME,
Yeah.
and you can follow the on Instagram the program. So I love that. Okay, we got a little bit of
There you go.
Yeah. You got some tie into the things that I do. All right. Okay, if anyone that's listening, you have a question. You've got a student, you have a friend, a family member that's about to take this journey. Abel he's willing and ready.
He wants you to call him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the time. He made the drive up here to Tehachapi. We're not doing this via Zoom. We're not doing this via phone call. These three drove up from Bakersfield here to Tehachapi so we could have this conversation with Corey and I. And we met Abel here in Tehachapi attending one of our local meetings. So he's actually, you know, putting a little bit of rubber, you know, on the pavement. He's coming out. He's physically here, not just sending a flyer and, hey, give me a call. I'm down the hill. I'm here. So appreciate that.
Of course. Yeah, anytime, if any school would like me to come to Tehachapi, do a presentation, elementary to high school, or even Siracoso, you know, I'm here. And just to add to that, we are bringing back Roadrunner Science Fridays, and if they want, that's basically to come tour our school. And if educators out there can save the date, we have Engineering Day 2024. It's going to be on Friday, February the 23rd, 2024. So
and that's hugely attended too, right?
Yes. Normally, from what I've been told in the past, it was about 120, 200 max. This past session, Engineering Day that we had about 500 students show up. Yeah, so and we're hoping to break that. So we really want to
keep building upon that number.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, super. All right, well, Jasmine, Isias, Abel, thank you for taking the time. We appreciate it. Corey, anything in
Thank you
closing?
so much.
No, I think we hit it all.
Yeah. Okay. All right. If this conversation has created a question for you, you can send it to us here at media@tehachapicityhall.com. I'll forward it along. Make sure it gets in the right hands. But we just appreciate the time. And if you have a suggestion for a future show, send it to that email also. All right, folks. Thank you. And we'll catch you all again soon right here on Tehachapod.
Tehachapod is a conversation about Tehachapi, featuring the community members who make this such a special place to call home. If you have a question or a thought you'd like to share, email media@tehachapicityhall.com. Thank you to Gary Mazzola for sharing his song, This is Tehachapi.